Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to Nang Talks Boxing. So, we are literally hours away now until the first undisputed light heavyweight fight since the likes of Roy Jones Jr. and the first, I believe, in the four-belt era, if I'm correct, in light heavyweight, of course. And the two guys that are facing off are BETERBIEV and Dimitri BIVOL, two powerhouses. Powerhouses in terms of, well, in one sense, in terms of BETERBIEV, realistically, the guy's a powerhouse. 20 wins, 20 knockouts. And in terms of my definition of BETERBIEV being a powerhouse, I mean, in terms of the guys he's faced, and yeah, the fact that he beat the guy that was considered by many to be the top pound for pound guy at the time in Canelo. So both guys have a long backstory coming up to this fight. And of course, there's also the backstory that they've been trying to push about BETERBIEV being the captain of the Russian amateur team at the time BIVOL was on it. So that's one of the other kind of narratives that they've tried to push in the promotion of this fight because, of course, neither of these guys are particularly big talkers. They do all their talking in the ring. I mean, there was an exchange between BETERBIEV and Eddie Hearn the other day, and basically after saying that Eddie Hearn spoke too much, so yeah, Eddie might have to watch out. Um, but no, this fight is extremely intriguing. I was hoping I could do this video a bit earlier, but just other things got in the way. So we're here though. We're here talking about it, and you know what a fight! What an amazing fight this is, and a fight that we may not have got to see if it wasn't for Riyadh season because there was a lot of politics that was in the way of this fight. Um, what with the different promotional backgrounds and different broadcasters behind them as well, and the amount of money that's been put behind them. So yeah, let's talk about their last fights. So BIVOL fought an undefeated fighter, Malik Zinad. Malik Zinad was, of course, the late replacement for BETERBIEV because this fight was meant to happen beforehand, but BETERBIEV had to pull out due to injury, um, which we'll come to later. And BIVOL did what he had to do to Zinad. Zinad was finding a mark early on, found some decent shots on BIVOL, found the jab and things. Not many people are talking about that. But yeah, he got the job done. And I think it was prior to that he fought Lyndon Arthur. And I noticed, not a lot of people noticed, but I noticed that in that fight, he did seem to get rocked by a body shot from Lyndon Arthur in that fight. If you watch slowly, there's a slow-mo video out there somewhere on YouTube of it happening. It definitely registers. Something to bear in mind. But of course, his two biggest wins are Canelo, obviously, and Silva Ramirez, who's now, of course, currently about to fight in a Riyadh season event of his own against Chris Smith. So, yeah, let's go on to BETERBIEV. So, his last one was against Callum Smith. Basically beat Callum Smith pillar to post. Of course, Callum Smith's only other loss was Canelo, but he went the distance with Canelo after BETERBIEV took him out in the 7th round. So a good look for him in that fight. And there are a couple of people picking Smith in that fight as well. So, you know, yeah, it was a good fight for him. And in terms of best wins, well, I think you've got to put Vosdik up there as his best win. That was when he unified his IBF title with the WBC. And maybe Joe Smith as well, who is actually a common opponent, both. And BETERBIEV, that was unification when he fought BETERBIEV. And BETERBIEV got him out in the 2nd round after dropping Smith a couple of times. And BIVOL, went the distance with him, and Joe Smith did rock him in that fight. So that's one of the talking points in this fight, is how it went with the mutual opponent, being Joe Smith, of course. Now, also, I wouldn't particularly look too much into that because, the whole idea of styles make fights, and BIVOL's style isn't necessarily trying to get you out like swarming you and stuff, so he was probably never going to get that opportunity with someone like Joe Smith Jr. But still, it's interesting, isn't it? In terms of who I think is going to win, well, you may have got hints from what I've just been talking about here. About seeing BIVOL getting hurt in these certain scenarios. In the bigger picture, that doesn't matter too much. But even that aside, personally, and this is my personal opinion, just from what I've seen, I think BETERBIEV is going to stop Dimitri BIVOL in 11. But it's one of those ones where I don't particularly feel embarrassed if I get this wrong, because BIVOL is a very, very good fighter, and the second outcome I could see in this fight, like the second most common one, I believe, would be BIVOL on points. So it's that kind of fight, really. So there's a lot of people going either way. One of the things I have noticed is that the people on either panel, people who have predicted it on other platforms, they've either been completely favouring one way or completely favouring the other. So it's a bit strange. But really, really solid fight. And it's hard to split them because BIVOL, of course, they've both got elements of that Soviet style. BIVOL very much on his feet, footwork, angles, jab, combos, on his feet. BETERBIEV very much plodding, but not plodding in the conventional sense. Swarmer style, crusher, basically. Not to nick Sergey Kovalev's nickname, but he comes and breaks you down, he smothers you, and he takes away the space that you've got. So you've got a guy that's actively looking for space, and you've got a guy that's actively looking to take away your space. And both have had high-profile fights, as I mentioned. But yeah, for me, I'm going with BETERBIEV. But there are concerns. Of course, there are concerns. The man's 39. That's probably the main one. And he's coming off an injury. Neither of them are particularly inactive. Both of them have fought recently. Those are my two concerns, despite still picking BETERBIEV. So for that reason, I wouldn't be surprised at going the other way, and also the fact that BIVOL's a good fighter. But let me know what you think. Let me know who you've got, and sorry for posting this so late, but thank you for tuning in.